John Higgins of Broadcasting and Cable Magazine. So, how would you do the kind of news network you would want to see done and still be able to make money at it? Because
but I don't understand why the kind of news network I want to do wouldn't make money. I don't understand what that has to. It means, is there a market for it? Look, MSNBC has 300,000 or 400,000 viewers. You know, I don't see how you could do. How do they make money? How does CNBC make money? But at least they're supported by a parent company. Then maybe the parent company decides, well, I think this is a public service, so I want to put it out there, and we'll create a death ray and make money with that, and use the profits from the uranium-tipped bunker buster, you know, death ray missile to fund that. But Fox proved that a point of view can work. I'm just saying that the point of view doesn't necessarily have to be partisan. That you can create a network with passion that is interesting. I'm not talking about a guy sitting in front of a wall. Everybody thinks the way to copy Fox is to make it louder and flashier. That's not what they're doing. That's not why it's working. It's working because they know where they're coming from. And these other networks don't. And what they think is, let's find the craziest motherfucker we can find and put him on air. And give him a country. Scarborough. Get out there. Welcome to Scarborough country. Your passport for bullshit. You know, it's not, you know, and again, that's silly because that's not they, but I mean, they hired Michael Savage. What are you thinking? Why can't you create people that care about the truth? You know them, I know them, they're good. You got people on blogs that are fact-checking as things happen. Now, some of those people are conspiracy theorists. Some of those people are really smart. Have somebody at the center of it who can be an arbiter of what's real and what's not. And make that network reactive. Fox is reactive. That's why it's working. Find one that is reactive to the devastating game of strategy that's being played in Washington. I think it would make a shitload of money, and not only that, you'd be able to sleep at night.
Yes. Mike's coming behind.
Frank Radis from NBC. How did you know about the death ray? I'm curious to know, short of a stroke with Kerry, what would be the Hail Mary that might make you vote for Bush?
I think if I got a sense that he understood the fear and the interest that people have in seeing him have a learning curve and a maturation process. You know, if I felt like at some level his definition of leadership in any way matched up to mine, that would do it. Maybe. Seems like a very decent man. Clearly, there's people around him that are unbelievably loyal to him. And not just, you know, crazy people. Smart people, good people. So there's clearly something there. But his vision of the world so differs from mine. And his vision of, you know, his strength seems so different from mine. That unless that cognitive dissonance is fixed, I don't see how I could do it. And that's why when I say a Hail Mary, you know, I don't see him making the checkers speech.
It's amazing, though, that you would believe him if he did make the checkers speech. Or you might.
I think he's a I mean, I think he's a decent guy who has, in some respects, had an administration that has done the opposite of what he set out to do, which is made their decisions politically instead of you know, I don't think his decision to go into Iraq is principled. Because I think he's a guy who doesn't want to do nation building. I think he said it in 2000.
Yes.
Hi, Jack Myers. Two related questions.
The Jack Myers?
I'm not sure, actually.
Made your day, Jack.
My life.
Mine too, Jack.
Two related questions. One about the FCC fines for indecency on Fox and CBS. How concerned are you? And then, related, the Sinclair decision to run the anti-Kerry documentary.
Well, as far as indecency, I work on Comedy Central, so you know, I think it'd be hard for us to get fined if we haven't been fined. You know, cable is a whole different world. But the way I look at it is, NBC's hit show is girls in bikinis eating mealworms. As long as you're topping that, no one should fine you. You know, these fines are politically motivated. They are what politicians do. And they're not politically motivated from the right or the left. They're politically motivated in the sense of, we have to do something. Let's pick something that doesn't matter so we don't actually have to do something. It's the same thing that, you know, during the school violence problems, they wanted to put the 10 Commandments up in high schools. You know, if your students don't know thou shalt not kill, geez, I don't know, you know, I don't think coming to school and going, oh, not, oh. You know, it's that very wonderful straw man red herring that politicians do to not have to do something, to complain about, Janet Jackson's teach was an outrage! You know, no, it's not. It's a tit. It's fine. You know, the Cialis commercial that came right before it. I mean, when you have a guy go, if you have a 4-hour erection, call a doctor. All right. I'll remember that. You know, so the whole FCC thing is a joke. And I'm sorry that, you know, I think that you've already seen that there's ramifications to it, that it's literally, you know, I think Howard Stern is a really smart, funny guy and does a smart, funny show, and the idea that he has to leave public broadcasting to go to Sirius because of this makes me sad. I think it's a loss. It's a loss that people have to pay money to hear him now, and they have to do it because the FCC got stupid. And Sinclair, it's a joke. And those guys have no business being in the business. They never have.
Right.
But, I'm just curious, why assume that Bush is a decent guy?
Because I have to look at, you know, there are people around him who clearly, you know, around Nixon were criminals. And I never assumed Nixon was a decent guy.
Yeah, but I don't mean it, you know, that in a partisan way.
Oh, okay.
Just in the sense that we might say that what you are on the inside reflects on the outside.
Right.
It's not decent to deny medical coverage. It's not decent to go through a whole list of the domestic policies that he has. It's not, the tax program is not decent.
Here's what I like about you. You're an up guy. And I like that. You bring a certain
John, I'm just
verve and enthusiasm.
Yeah, John, I'm just trying to bring you along. That's all.
No, I hear you.
Okay.
But here's you're talking about it's the litany of complaints that is, you know, look, how can we have a nice breakfast when in Darfur there's a genocide? Like, yeah, I don't know.
Well,
but it's living in a world that has serious problems, and you know, does he feel those problems as deeply as he should? Probably not. But I don't know anybody who lives in that insulated bubble that would. And they're surrounded day and night by, again, it's the responsibility of the media to permeate that bubble, not to create it and exaggerate it. And, you know, Alexandra Pelosi's documentary on the first one, I haven't seen the second one, but the most interesting shot to me on that wasn't anything to do with George Bush. It had to do with the cluster of reporters around the candidates completely out of context with the rest of the world. And they fall into the same trap and lose context. It's like, you ever see 6-year-olds play soccer? Ball! Kick, wing, ball! But nobody's on the outside looking at the whole. And that's where I think you lose that. You know, you're saying, how do you say he's decent when people in this country don't have health care?
Well,
I don't think he understands, you know.